Most people completely misunderstand what it really means to start a business in a small island nation. And Comoros is one of the clearest examples of that. At first glance, it seems too remote, too unfamiliar, maybe even too risky. It's not the first place that comes to mind when you think about launching a company. But here's the surprising truth that almost nobody talks about. Smaller markets like Comoros often have less competition, more flexible entry points, and unique opportunities that simply don't exist in crowded economies. And this is exactly what caught Michael's attention. Michael is an online entrepreneur who has been running a small import-export business from the United States. He's constantly searching for new markets, places where demand is growing, but supply hasn't caught up yet. One day, while researching trade routes in East Africa, he stumbles across Comoros. At first, he hesitates. He's never done business there. He doesn't know the legal system. He doesn't even fully understand the language or regulations. But something about it keeps pulling him back. And that's where things get interesting. Because once Michael starts digging deeper, he realizes that Comoros, despite its size, is strategically located in the Indian Ocean, near major shipping routes between Africa and Asia. And what happens next changes everything. He starts asking a simple but powerful question. What would it take to legally start a company there? And this is where most people get stuck. Because registering an LLC in Comoros isn't just about filling out forms. It's about understanding a system that blends French legal influence, local administrative processes, and regional business practices. And if you don't understand that system, things can go very wrong. Let's start with the basics. In Comoros, the equivalent of an LLC is often referred to as a SARL, which stands for Société à Responsabilité Limitée. Just like in many other countries, this structure offers limited liability. That means your personal assets are protected if the business runs into financial trouble. That's a major advantage. But there's one detail most people miss. The process of setting up a SARL in Comoros is not fully digital. It involves multiple steps, in-person verifications, and interactions with government offices. Michael didn't expect that. He assumed he could handle everything online, just like he had done in other countries. But this is where the reality hit him. And this is where things can get complicated. Let's bring in Sarah. Zara is a consultant who has experience helping foreign entrepreneurs establish businesses in island economies. When Michael reaches out to her, she immediately points out something critical. Comoros is not difficult, but it is different. That one sentence changes Michael's entire approach. Because instead of trying to force a familiar process onto an unfamiliar system, he begins to adapt. And that's where progress begins. Now let's walk through the process step by step, but in a way that actually makes sense. Imagine you're in Michael's position. You've decided to move forward. What's the first step? It starts with choosing a company name. Sounds simple. But here's where things get interesting. Your business name must be unique and approved by the relevant authorities. If it's already in use or too similar to another company, it will be rejected. Michael submits his first choice. Rejected. Then, his second. Rejected again. Each time, the process slows down. But there's a smarter way to handle this. You prepare multiple name options in advance and verify availability before submitting. This small step can save you a significant amount of time. And this is the pattern you'll start to notice. Small details, big impact. Now, once the name is approved, the next step is drafting the company's statutes. This is essentially the legal foundation of your business. It defines ownership, management structure, and operational rules. But here's the problem. These statutes must follow specific legal requirements influenced by French commercial law. You can't just copy a template from another country. Daniel tried that. He downloaded a generic LLC template online and submitted it with his application. It seemed fine on the surface, but it didn't meet local standards. The result? Delays, corrections, and frustration. But once he worked with a local legal advisor, everything changed. His documents were properly structured, and the process moved forward smoothly. And this is where things get interesting again. Working with local expertise is not just helpful, it's often essential. Now let's move forward. After preparing the statutes, you need to deposit your company's share capital. Here's where many people get confused. The required capital in Comoros can vary depending on the type of business and regulatory expectations. But here's the important part. This isn't just a formality. Emily understood this early on. Instead of depositing the bare minimum, she ensured her company had enough capital to operate effectively. This gave her credibility with partners and financial institutions. And that credibility opened doors. But here's the problem. Many entrepreneurs focus only on meeting legal minimums without thinking about actual business needs. And that's where things can go wrong. Now, once the capital is deposited, you receive proof from the bank. This document becomes part of your registration file. Next comes the official registration process. This involves submitting your documents to the commercial registry and completing administrative formalities. And this is where things can get unpredictable. Jessica experienced this firsthand. She submitted all her documents, expecting a quick approval. But small administrative delays pushed her timeline back. Not because she did anything wrong, but because the system operates at its own pace. And this is where patience becomes a strategic advantage. But here's the good news. Once the registration is approved, your company becomes a legal entity. You can open business accounts, sign contracts, and operate officially. And that moment changes everything. Because now, your idea becomes a real business. But there's one detail most people miss. Registration is not the end. It's just the beginning. Now let's talk about what happens next. After your company is registered, you need to handle tax registration. This includes obtaining a tax identification number and understanding your obligations. And this is where things can go very wrong. If you ignore tax compliance, penalties can accumulate quickly. David learned this the hard way. He assumed that because his business was small, compliance wouldn't be strict. He was wrong. Missed filings led to fines. But once he partnered with a local accountant, everything stabilized. And that stability allowed him to focus on growth. Now let's zoom out for a moment. At this point, you've chosen a name, drafted statutes, deposited capital, registered the company, and handled tax registration. It sounds like a lot. But here's the insight most people never realize. The real challenge is not the process itself. It's the mindset. If you approach this with impatience, you'll face frustration. If you approach it with strategy, you'll find opportunity. And this is where the identity shift happens. You're no longer someone guessing your way through international business. You're someone who understands how to navigate different systems. And that changes everything. But we're not done yet. There's one more critical piece: ongoing compliance. In Comoros, businesses must maintain proper records, submit reports, and operate within legal frameworks. This is not optional. And this is where many entrepreneurs lose momentum. But here's the smarter approach. You build a support system. A local accountant. A legal advisor. Reliable contacts. Michael eventually did this. At first, he tried to manage everything remotely. It didn't work. But once he built a local network, everything became easier. Decisions became clearer. Processes became faster. And his confidence grew. And that confidence led to growth. Because while others hesitated to enter the market, he was already established. He had relationships. He had experience. He had momentum. Now let's bring everything together. Registering an LLC in Comoros is not just about paperwork. It's about understanding a unique environment. An environment shaped by history, geography, and local practices. If you rush, you risk mistakes. If you prepare, you create opportunity. And that's the difference between those who struggle and those who succeed. Because at the end of the day, it's not about choosing the most popular market. It's about choosing the right one and understanding it deeply. Comoros may not be the first place most entrepreneurs think of. But for those who take the time to learn the process, it offers something rare. Less competition, untapped demand, and the chance to build something meaningful from the ground up. So if you're considering starting your own LLC in Comoros, remember this. Take your time. Learn the system. Build the right connections. Because once you do, you're not just starting a company. You're entering a market that very few people truly understand. And that's where real opportunities exist. If you found this guide helpful, and want more videos that break down complex global opportunities like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Because the more you understand, the more confident and capable you become. And that's how smart entrepreneurs move forward.